Okay, hello everybody. This is William Bloom, and I'm going to share with you this evening some ideas about how the secret and the laws of manifestation, the laws of attraction actually work. Thank you first of all to Watkins Books and Etan for hosting this. Thank you very much. You've been wonderful to work with. In this session, I'm going to explain to you, in my opinion, how the secret and the laws of attraction and manifestation work. I'm then going to explain why it is that they don't work for a lot of people. It's very confusing. They seem to work for some people and they don't work for a lot of people, and I'll explain why that is. And after I've explained why that is, I'll share some an understanding and possibility of strategies you can use to move forward with your work if you want to work into the future with the laws of manifestation and attraction. So I'm going to start off with the secret, the laws of manifestation and attraction, and the principles inside them are principles that were taught in mystery schools, magical schools, shamanic schools for millennia. Historically, they were only ever taught by a particular teacher to a particular student, occasionally students, but not very many. But one of the things that's happened in the last 100 years or so is that these secrets have become more or less public. They've become public, and a lot of people, of course, don't believe in them, don't accept them, even when they're explained to them. And let me just tell you what these secrets were. And just remember that historically, these secrets would be given to you after a teacher had decided that they could really trust you. And quite possibly, you might have had to take an oath of silence, an oath of obedience, an oath of ethics to the highest good before these secrets were shared with you. There were three major secrets that were taught in these initiations, and I'm going to put them up on the screen for you to look at and just talk through them. The first secret was that what you can see is not all there is, that behind everything, in everything, there is an invisible matrix, an invisible energy. And this energy, this matrix, this consciousness that you cannot see is in actual fact just as powerful and influential as the object itself. The second secret was that you can influence this invisible realm with your feelings, your imagination, and your thoughts. And the third secret was, the first secret is there's an invisible matrix behind everything. The second secret is that you can influence it, and it can also influence you with thoughts, behaviors, imagination. And the third secret was that like attracts like. So if you sound out, it's in music, if you sound out a particular note, it has a particular vibration, then it will set up a similar vibration in something at a distance. It's a basic law of physics that works also in energy work and subtle energies, that a vibration will always connect with a similar vibration. So at the most mystical level, if you vibrate with love and benevolence, you will connect with the vibrations of love and benevolence. Equally, if you vibrate with the vibrations of selfishness, you will connect with other vibrations of selfishness. In anthropology, this was called, in the studies of what was called magic in anthropology, this was called sympathetic magic. So, for example, if a pagan witch or a voodoo priest wanted to connect with someone else, for better or for worse, they would like to have a doll which represented them, and the doll would hold the vibration of the person and maybe have some hairs from the person, and that resonance in the doll would connect them with the actual person. Equally, in magical ceremonies where you call in an angel or a spirit, you would have an object or something that you would focus on, and that object would remind you of the spirit, the angel, the particular quality of energy, and in focusing on it and vibrating it, it would then connect you with the object. So the law of manifestation and the secret in the secret was that if you vibrate, if you have a resonance within you of that which you want to attract to you, then you must vibrate inside yourself. You must resonate with the vibration of that which you want to attract to you. So if you want to attract prosperity, then you need to be vibrating in the first place inside yourself with the resonance of prosperity. Or if you want to attract a beautiful, handsome, intelligent, rich partner, then inside yourself you needed to be resonating with rich, handsome, beautiful partner. And in order to help people do this work, this prosperity work, this abundance work, there were all kinds of exercises that included surrounding yourselves with images of prosperity, images of banknotes and currency and little, those little piggies that you put money in to save money in, all that kind of stuff. And then you'd have also around you, you'd have affirmations and mantra that would say things like, I am prosperous and rich, I am filled with abundance. And then you would visualize, have a sense of, a picture of, an experience of what it was you wanted. And you would keep holding that as a picture inside yourself and resonating at the same time. I am prosperous, I am abundant, I have this, I have that. And there would be an expectation it would come to you. And let me just have a drink. This strategy of manifestation, of prosperity and magnetizing prosperity so you draw prosperity to you, was evidenced and illustrated usually by a particular teacher or a particular little group of teachers, all of whom were fabulously rich and had fabulous partners and fabulous lives, and could say, yes, look, I am abundant and prosperous. Look, it worked for me. It will work for you. And so thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions maybe, because there are prosperity churches, for example, in the United States and Africa and South America. So maybe millions of people are doing these exercises, and 10 years on, they're still poor. And worse than being poor is somehow or other inside themselves, they now assess themselves as being failures. and assess themselves as not being good enough. And there is that stream of prosperity churches which says that if you're poor, that shows that you are a emotionally poor person. If you're rich, that means you're emotionally rich. And so there's some guilt tripping that goes on here. So these poor folk who are not achieving what they want to achieve are not only still stuck in poverty, but they're still stuck in a judgment of emotional poverty. So, why does it work for some people and not for others? So I'm going to look at the reasons for that right now. And the first thing I want to say, it's very obvious, and you'll go, oh yes, of course. The first thing I want to say is that, yes, there's a part of you that says, I'm abundant, I'm prosperous, I can have the perfect partner, I can have the perfect life, but that is just a little part of you. And that little part of you sits inside a whole huge energy field. I'm just going to put a picture up here. Sits inside a whole huge energy field, which is like an iceberg. So there's that little part of you at the top which is consciously going, I am prosperous, I am abundant, I am attracting to me exactly what it is I need. But rumbling beneath you is the unconscious. There's a load of unconscious stuff. So let's just be realistic about what this unconscious stuff is that's influencing the ability to manifest what you want to manifest. Part of it's psychological, and part of it is spiritual, mystical. The part that's psychological is grounded in Freud's insight of more than 100 years ago, which is that we carry psychological dynamics that come from our experience in the womb, birth canal, little babies, bigger babies, our early childhood, that things are happening to us all the way through from womb and early childhood. And this stuff is huge and enormous. We're surrounded by giants, none of whom are perfect, and we are responding in certain ways all the time. And that stuff from our childhood stays stuck within us, influencing how we behave as adults. So we all know that the way that we relate, especially to those we're most closely connected with, the way we relate to them, the way our emotions move, the way our feelings move, it's stuff that's sunk deep down inside of us. And we would have needed wonderful parenting for deep down inside of us to have a sense of, I'm 100% okay. I'm 100% prosperous. I'm 100% at ease. I absolutely deserve everything in the universe that should come to me. There is stuff inside us which is just vibrating away. And it colours everything, how we perceive our lives and how we behave in our lives. And at the same time, more than that, there's what we would call evolutionary psychology, which is that we are creatures, mammals, and we have in us profound instincts for procreation, for sex, for connection, for space, for intimacy, for status. And all these things are bubbling underneath us, underneath our consciousness. So there we are going, I am prosperous and full of abundance, and I'm going to have the perfect partner. And underneath that, there's this huge unconscious area going, no, I'm doing something else. Squeak, squeak, help, help. And it's just sending out a completely different vibration. So the vibration of what's going on unconsciously is stronger than the vibration of what you're doing consciously. And it doesn't matter how many times you say the affirmation and how many times you put the notes and reminders up around you. This stuff that's going on unconsciously within you is sending out a vibe. The second reason is, before you were born, you were a soul. And after you die, you will still be a soul. And who we really are is we're a soul in incarnation. And we as souls have our histories. And we incarnate with those histories. And we incarnate and have a life that's coloured by those histories and coloured by a sense of what is needed next for our development. And this history has been going on for thousands of years and will continue into the future. And its destiny, this is the good news, its destiny is that you, me, all of us, we develop and grow and become conscious and loving. Conscious and loving 100% of the time in every cell of our bodies. Wonderful journey. But it's a journey full of lessons, full of difficulties, some suffering, some high points, some low points. So when you do your manifestation prosperity exercises, you've got these two huge dynamics that are the unconscious and the soul's journey working around you, filling your energy field, colouring, vibrating how other people respond and relate to you. So with that whole huge, I almost think of it like this enormous balloon of energy surrounding you. You might go into the bank to ask for a loan, and the little person there sitting on the other side of the desk, or big person because they've also got a huge energy field, is not just experiencing you, they're also experiencing this whole field of who you are. And it's the same with investors and business ideas. They get a sense of who you are as a whole and how they may work with you. And just the simple act of going, I am prosperous and abundant, I have all that I need, the perfect partner, all the money in the world is going to come to me, just simply is not going to vibrate stronger than this whole big package of who you are. So, why does it work for some people? Well, let's be very clear. Some people get rich by luck. It's just fortune. They're in the right place at the right time with the right idea, and kapow, it works. Think of Facebook and, there he is in his dorm at the university, comes up with one idea which it kind of works for dating, and then it just develops into, it's almost a piece of luck, but he managed to surf that piece of luck. There are other people I know who, think of one guy who was in a business he was a middle manager, but he had some shares in the business. The business was bought out by a huge company, and suddenly he found that his little shareholding was suddenly worth a couple of £1 million. I know someone else in the IT world, who found themselves in a position where they were at the right place at the right time, they had the right background, and they just managed to understand what was needed in a particular app, and it was absolutely perfect, and then a huge corporation bought it from them for a few $1 million as well. So it was right time, right place, bit of luck. And you can say to me, no, it was their soul's destiny. And I'm going to say to you, yeah, maybe. But wise up. Why wise up? There is an element of what used to be called fortune. You know, in the tarot pack, there's a fortune card, fortunitas in Latin. Wise up, there's an aspect of fortune, good luck that plays through all of this. There's another aspect which plays through all of this, which is that, let's be very realistic here. I'm thinking of some of the wonderful people I know who work as therapists and carers and healthcare workers who have said to me at various times, I need more money, I need to be richer, I need to be more abundant. And I've been doing these exercises for years now, and I'm not getting what I deserve in terms of all the energy work I'm putting into becoming hugely rich. And I look at them, and we have a very realistic moment when I look at them and say, if you were working, you know, is it possible inside your particular career to earn the kind of money that you want as a nurse, as a care assistant, as a therapist, as a shop assistant, as a call center employee? Is it possible inside those situations to earn that kind of money? And they go, no. And, you know, and especially to those who are in the caring professions or teachers or social workers, I say, look, you seem to have made a decision at a soul level that you want to be of service, that the kind of life you want to live now is a life that is of service. And in that context, you have been very successful. And emotionally, there's a certain abundance and prosperity there. And why is it you're getting distracted by the desire or the instinct for more money? If you seriously want more money, you need to change your job in the first place. Did you understand what I'm saying? There's a reality check here about, are you doing what is necessary in order to bring in the money you want to bring in? You know, it's the same thing for the person who says, I want a beautiful, handsome, lovely, rich partner. And all they're doing is basically just vibrating neediness. I'm needy, I'm needy. And all that person attracts to them is someone else who's needy. But the thing is, if they were to then go, okay, wait a minute, I'm now going to remake myself to be, I'm beautiful, I'm handsome, I'm feeling prosperous, right? And then you have to put yourself in those situations where you will meet someone who is similar. So there's some strategy involved here. This understanding of the different dynamics that work into the laws of manifestation, none of this is to deny that sympathetic magic works, that we can influence and energies and that like attracts like. This is not to deny any of that. This is just to say there are other big factors at play here. There was a French philosopher called Fabre d'Olivet, who in the 1700s, working on this precise problem, came up with a little triangle, which I'm going to show you, in which he said that if you want to understand how your life actually unfolds, then the way to understand it is that there are three powerful dynamics at work. He said one of them is fortune, fortunitas, chance. I've written it in this diagram as chance. You know, listen, you live in the middle of 8 billion people. Things are happening. There are elements of chaos in life. That is just the way life is. And quite honestly, you are naive if you think chance does not play a part. Chance, fortune, fortunitas does play a part. And then there is karma, dharma. That's what I'm saying. Your soul has a journey. The karma is, okay, here are the lessons from the past that I need to be integrating and working with. And my dharma is, given who I am and the talents I have, how should I be living out my life right now in order to progress my soul's development? Karma, here are the lessons from the past. Dharma, what is my soul's intention for manifesting itself fully in this life? And then the third element is human will, purpose. Because with a lot of willpower, you have the freedom, if you wish, to override chance and to override your karma dharma. If you have the willpower and the discipline and the intentionality, then you can choose to bulldoze your way forward through life, ignoring your dharma, karma, putting chance and fortune to the side, and just going for what it is you want to do. And there are occasions in all our lives when we have to do that anyway. There are occasions in our lives where we see the possibility of a way forward, the possibility of a relationship, the possibility of a certain type of work or a certain type of study, and we have to use personal power and discipline to take ourselves forward. It may be in terms of studying something for 3 years. It may be in terms of daring to go to make contact with someone. It may be that if you're starting a company and you want it to be really successful, you know that for 2 or 3 years you may have to work 16 hours a day to get that thing off the ground. Do you have that kind of intentionality? Because that will drive you forward. So the people who've made their millions, some of them it may have been dharma karma because they incarnated with a talent for working with finance. They incarnated with a talent for some particular métier at which they could excel and therefore make a lot of money. They incarnated with a talent for relationship. They incarnated with a talent for bullying and getting what they want sometimes. And there are other people who have a sense of what they want and they go for it. And there are other people who just leave it to fortune or chance and maybe they'll be lucky. And there are other people who in terms of their karma, dharma, go, no, my job is to be a carer. My job is to learn about mindfulness. My job is to learn about opening my heart. And I keep getting distracted by this business of making money, having the perfect partner. That's not really what life is about. And the whole reason I got involved with The Secret and the laws of manifestation was because in actual fact I needed to learn better how to manage myself and to wake up more fully and to realize that it's not material success I want, but in actual fact I need to grow up, become more mature. I don't know. We all surf our own lives. So finally, here's a story that may entertain you. I used to run workshops to do with this field, especially making money, and there was an exercise in it that we used to run sometimes, and this exercise was get everybody very deeply relaxed and then say, okay, imagine now that you've got $1 billion. You have it. You've got it. You're lying there. You're completely relaxed. You have $1 billion. Just allow yourself to soak in that extraordinary feeling of having $1 billion. And you have all the houses you want. You've got a beautiful house in the Alps. You've got a beautiful house in the West Indies. You've got a beautiful house wherever you want a house, right? You've got enough money that you can give the Dalai Lama several millions of dollars in order to support his work. You're fabulously comfortable, and just feel into what that is like for you. And we have people just there swooning in this feeling of having $1 billion and everything's absolutely perfect. And then we ask them, listen, do you think what you really want is just this feeling? Do you want this feeling? Or do you want the hassle of actually having to do the work to make that amount of money? And then there's a pause in that moment. Oh, wait a minute, you've got the feeling. Do you want the feeling? Because you can have the feeling right now without all the money. But if you want the money, if you want that level of success, you're going to have to work for it. Your willpower is going to have to come in and drive you forward like a horse rider riding your karma dharma, skirting around chance and creating your own good fortune. That is open to you. Of course it is. Of course it is. So there you go. That's my take, very quick take on The Secret and the Laws of Manifestation. Ultimately, I think that what we're about is this long soul's journey of becoming more loving and more conscious. And if you're disturbed or concerned about your financial situation, relax, come home to yourself, and be aware that life is about opening your heart and becoming more conscious. That said, I am also a person of social and political conscience, and I want a world where social justice enables every person on it to be housed, educated, fed, and safe. And so for me, my aspiration would not be for my personal fortune, but would be for the good fortune of absolutely everybody. Okay, so I'm going to have a look and see if any interesting questions have come in. So I can't see them easily, so I'm going to my WhatsApp stream with Etan to see whether he's got anything to type at me. If you're live right now, you can see that underneath the YouTube screen with me coming through on it, there's a place where you can chat and pose questions. So I'm looking to see if there's anything coming through. And I've got somebody just saying, what is it? I don't know what you mean by that question. I also, I'll put a little advertisement in here now, if that this is hosted by Watkins Books. So if you go to Watkins Academy, you'll find lots of really good videos being hosted by them. It's the beginning of a library of video works that you might find very useful. So Dan says, nobody is going to be making much money during this global lockdown. Yeah, some people are though. I know someone who I heard of someone who made £350,000 just by buying a whole load of masks early on. The Amazon stock has gone up, hasn't it, by about 15%. I'm just hoping that those folk are generous and distribute what they get from this. Penny says, this is so needed. Too many people have very simplistic ideas about manifestation and then feel inadequate. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, is the inadequacy is the bit that I don't like about the failure, when people don't make it with using the manifestation techniques, because they do feel inadequate, and that's probably how they felt in the first place, and it's now then worse, and they haven't had the whole paradigm, the whole constellation of dynamics explained to them. Dan says again, definitely tough times at the moment, but even now things can be done. Zoom as a company is doing exceptionally well, yes. And people are connecting in numerous ways over the internet. That is absolutely true. Yeah, banks are up. Oh, my friend Di Owen suddenly in there going, right on. Thank you, Di. Somebody asks, hi William, are there any active mystery schools in the world today? Ha. You know, the mystery schools are still happening invisibly, where one picks up information intuitively. And I think the gateway nowadays into mystery schools is through meditation. That it's in meditation, you open your radar and you allow yourself to receive wise teachings. I wish there were good mystery schools. There's loads of good teachers. Every energy school teacher has something valuable to share. Linda, have you got any more guidelines for meeting the man of my dreams? Oh, Linda, no, I don't. Except to become the kind of woman the man of your dreams would like to meet. Because that will make it possible, won't it? Maybe? I don't know. I always say the one area in which I'm completely ignorant is relationships. No wisdom about relationships. Wish I did. It's really hard to stay positive right now. I totally get that positive feeds positive, but what about those days when we just can't do it? Yes, there are days when people just cannot be positive, and I, as a mystic, as an energy worker, I say to you, in those days, if you can, open the window, connect with the sky, the clouds, the sun. Know that beneath wherever you live, beneath the city, there's earth and fire at the center of the earth. There's a whole universe that's bigger than just this blob of stuff, which is humanity. And if you can lift yourself out of the melancholy, do what you love, do some dancing, do some movement, and just connect with the wonder of life, which is still there, then do that. And if you can't and you're melancholic, well, bless. I hope that you feel well soon. Does a person have to be enlightened before they can manifest? No. No, I think it just requires, I'll repeat the question, does a person have to be enlightened before they can manifest? Well, it depends what you want to manifest, doesn't it? If you want to manifest money and prosperity, I don't think being enlightened has anything to do with it. I think if you want to manifest love, compassion, consciousness, a more socially just world, then yes, being enlightened helps. So you make your choices, and your choices will be based on your dharma karma. It's complex. We human beings are complex. It's not black and white. What would you suggest, says Lisa, that we can incorporate into a daily practice if we want to put the effort into the network? I think, especially during this corona crisis, I think the greatest thing that any of us can do is to, as I said a few minutes ago, connect with the wonder and energy of life, connect with God, connect with Spirit, connect with love, compassion that's in the cosmos, deep in the earth, connect with that and just be a calm, caring vibration. Calm, caring vibration. Do that with the people closest to you, with your neighbors, and if you're a meditator, calm, caring vibe going out to Whitehall, to the White House, wherever you choose to feel it going. Do I have any good books to recommend on this particular subject? You know, the whole area of energy work, sympathetic magic, and understanding how the laws of resonance work, the main book of learning is in the actual practice and the doing of it. The book that had the most influence on me was a book by Alice Bailey called A Treatise on White Magic. But it's quite big and long and heavy. And prior to that, I read, this is in my 20s, I read 3 or 4 occult books a week for many years. I soaked in what all the different schools taught. And at the end of the day, they came out with the same lessons, which were, 1, commit to ethics, commit to white magic, commit to the high path, commit to the royal path, commit to compassion and doing good, number 1. Number 2, when you're working with energy, learn to discern between that which is negative and that which is positive. That which is positive will make a child feel safe and able to grow. That which is negative will feel harmful and cause anxiety. So ethics, discern between the good and the bad, between ancient language, between love and evil. And then learn to open to connect with the vibration and learn to close. And then inside the different schools, people learn to connect with different vibes. But I think this is one of those things, if you're really into this topic, give yourself 3 to 5 years to read about it and learn about it. What would I recommend that we do on a daily basis? I think I go back to a spiritual practice, a daily practice in which you connect with the wonder and energy with God's Spirit and you allow yourself to become calm and centered within it. And then from within that calm and centeredness, allow yourself to have a sense of your needs are met. You are able to feel cared for and prosperous and abundant, because that's the core feeling of abundance, that you're cared for and safe. And from that space, you can strategically feel into what you want to do to help others or attract what you want to attract. And I think I'm going to leave it there. This has been a very interesting seminar to share with you. So many deep and profoundly important questions. I hope this has been useful for you. And I wish you all and everybody around you wellness and safety and much love. Blessed be. Good night.